in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc, love the kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to catch us every Friday, 7 p.m. on the Friday Fix and our other shows, Plays and Parlays, Civil Discourse, and UFC with LT. So, I guess it's not America first anymore. It's another foreign nation, if you ever want ties. What a crazy time we're living in. We're seeing the true colors of everything that's going on here and the people that are in charge. You know, like they're throwing hissy fits and they're not getting their way. They're trying to make other foreign, let's just get into it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing what this, kind of what this whole entire topic that you're about to hop into is really about. Like it tells us where our political kind of like where our discourse or where our political agendas are really held around here. Pretty much. That's what I want to say. But
yeah, no, this is wild. So Trump administration reverses pledge to tie FEMA funds to stance on Israel following criticism. The Trump administration has reversed course on Monday after it faced backlash for threatening to withhold at least $1.9 million in disaster funds from cities and states that support boycotts of Israel and Israel companies. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security appears to have removed an article from its website under its internal terms and conditions, which stipulated that states must not support severing commercial relationships or otherwise limiting commercial relationships specifically with Israel companies or with companies doing business in or with Israel to qualify for funding. States rely on the emergency line of funding to finance search and rescue operations in case of natural disasters, or local emergencies, staff salaries, equipment, and resources. The DHS oversees the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, funding operations. Spokespersons for the DHS, Tricia McLean, said in a statement on Monday that FEMA grants remain governed by existing laws and policies and not political litmus tests. Litmus tests.
Yeah, man, it's pretty. Yeah, obviously it's a political litmus test. I mean, this isn't the only thing. You got to remember, like, you remember what they did to like Brown College, what they did to Yale, Harvard, all these other colleges where they pretty much made them, Columbia University, where made them like bend the knee, give money to Israel, give money to, basically settle lawsuits for millions of dollars just so they can have government funds that they've already been accustomed to getting from us, which gives us the greatest college education on earth. I mean, it's crazy that this administration is so beholden. I'm not saying all administrations are not, but we didn't see in Biden's administration, even though he said a lot of stupid stuff when it came to Israel. If you want to ask me, that you didn't see these people telling colleges, we're going to take away your grants. We're going to take away this from you. We're going to take away that from you. Now, all of a sudden, they're telling states, I'm not going to give you FEMA funds that you paid into. This is our money.
Your tax money.
This is our money.
Your tax money.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the money that you paid into, if you don't sit here and you don't support Israel, we're not giving you none of it. He's already kind of not trying to give states money already who are blue states, saying that you don't deserve it and giving it to red states. This is the most divisive, like ill-willed president we've ever had in our entire life. And it's hard for me to sit back and imagine another one. I know there's other ones who've done like other evil things that we can think of, plenty of evil stuff. You got to look at like slavery, all that kind of stuff. We can get into that too. But just the intent of telling people, look, man, I'm not going to give you your money. If something happens to you, America, if you don't like Israel, if you don't disagree with what they have going on.
If you have a free Palestine march in your city, and the next day you get rocked with a hurricane and a tornado, you're not going to get to use your taxpayer-funded money because a foreign nation has lobbied so you can't. A foreign nation. Yeah. Where are we as America?
You got to go back and look. There's Netanyahu did an interview. I want to say it was maybe in the 80s, maybe early 90s, right? He came out and he said, hey, we don't have to worry about America because we have a strong congressional, Senate, presidential, lobby over there. They'll take care of that. And we have the American people's sentiment, pretty much. Their sentiment is with us. So we don't have to listen to them and we don't have to worry about them. This is what he said.
Yeah.
Back in like the 80s and 90s, you go back and look at, there's an interview that he did. Benjamin Netanyahu, he says all this back then. Imagine what they can tell us from back then, what they had to what they got now, to how intrinsically, set they are into our entire Congress, our entire government.
There's over close to 24 people that actually govern in Washington, D.C. that have dual citizenships with America and Israel.
I mean, you look, I think it's like 80%, 90% of the people accept money.
Green tried to put a bill in there to stop that, which you shouldn't be able to have dual. What if I had a dual citizenship with the Republic of Congo? What if I had a dual citizenship with Russia? And I'm making laws in America. Who am I favoring there?
And at the same time, and we all understand what that really means at the end of the day. We all understand what that means. I mean, we all know this is not to say these people are doing this, but where did Epstein run when he was on the run from America for the charges that he had going on?
A lot of sexual predators that are on the run are actually in Israel right now.
So basically, I can run to you if I do something over here. Am I a spy or whatever else? They had the guy who was a spy who we caught. And then they came back and who greeted him on the tarmac. He stole our secrets. And so I think he sold them to like either Russia or somebody else. You know who greeted him on a tarmac when we released him to go back to Israel? Benjamin Netanyahu greeted a spy who spied on America, gave our secrets to a foreign government. And he met him on the tarmac with a hug.
And they can only suppress the media so much. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in America and this doesn't enrage you, regardless on what side of the aisle you're on. Think about North Carolina. They could have been like, hey, I mean, North Carolina's still reeling, right? And then they get hit with another tornado. Well, we saw a Palestinian flag out there, or you guys aren't doing business here. We're not going to give you funds that you deserve because it's your taxpayer money. It's ridiculous. We see this administration that's bought and owned. They must have tape on him.
Absolutely. I mean, and not only just him, all these people, man. This is not a partisan thing right here. I want us to fully understand. Yes, he said this. Yes, he's the person who actually came out and did it. He was the one with the gall. Don't forget that. He was just the one with the gall. He was just like he was the one with the gall to make the capital name the capital of Israel, Jerusalem. He was the one with the gall to do it. We all have to understand. Back in the day, an Israeli businessman is the one who bailed him out. This isn't to say, like, I know a lot of times we tend to not see the connection, but a lot of these Israeli businessmen have ties to Israel, Jewish businessmen, whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's probably why
have
he
ties to
show
Israel.
His tax returns.
Let me say that.
Bought.
Absolutely. On top of that, he was in the hole for like $1 billion, and this Israeli businessman came and gave him. I think they helped him secure a $2 billion loan when nobody would give him money. Nobody would give him money. This is like the same time they're talking about all the Russian help, how the Deutsche Bank and all those places were trying to help him out through Russian mobsters, all the kind of weird stuff going on here. This is all the same. Why do you think he's so beholden to these people, man? This is a reason why. Go look it up. Anyway, Texas Republicans vote to arrest Democrats blocking redistricting plan. Texas Republicans have voted for the arrest of dozens of Democrat legislators who fled the state in an attempt to block a plan to redraw electoral boundaries. Republican Governor Greg Abbott ordered state troopers to locate, arrest, and return to the House of Chambers any member who has abandoned their duty to Texans. Abbott has also threatened to charge the absent Democrats with bribery if they raise public money to cover the daily fine they incur for boycotting the chamber. The redrawn congressional map would create 5 more Republican-leaning seats in the U.S. House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., where Republicans hold a slim majority. At least 2/3 of the 150 members state legislative body in Texas must be present to proceed with the vote. The quorum became unreachable after more than 50 Democrat lawmakers left the state. Most of the Democrats fled to Illinois. The state's governor, J.B. Pritzker, a Democrat, said on Tuesday, "We're fighting for democracy. There are no rules anymore." At a press conference, Democrats from Texas and Illinois, as well as party leaders, spoke about the ongoing fight. Make no mistake about it, the Democratic Party didn't start this fight, but we're not going to roll over, Democrat National Committee Chair Ken Martin said. They want to fight. We're going to give it to them. We're going to put every option on the table. The Democrats said they plan to stay away from Texas for 2 weeks until the end of special legislative session. Monday's vote was mostly symbolic as the warrants only apply within Texas state lines. The move empowers the chamber's sergeant-at-arms and the state troopers to arrest the absent lawmakers and deliver them to the state capitol building in Austin. They would not face any civil or criminal charges as a result of the warrant. Texas Democrat lawmaker Ron Ronalds told BBC News from Chicago on Monday that the arrest threat was nothing more than a scare tactic.
I mean, the whole thing is like, they're coming out and they're saying the quiet parts out loud. You know what I'm saying? You have GOP State Representative Brian Harrison. He's like the voters aren't the priority. It's to make sure the Republicans hold on to a majority. And then people can, on both sides of the aisle, you can say something, but at the end of the day, the Democrats fled Texas to save the voters' rights, and Republicans fled DC to save pedophiles.
That's a great point, man, that you just made right there. I think people need to pay attention to that. I wouldn't want to ask you to say it again because I know it was, but that was a very good point. They did leave DC early in order not to vote on the Epstein files. Yeah. Now they're angry that Democrats left Texas to not have five new districts redrawn in Republicans' favor. You got Jasmine Crockett, who was drawn out of her district. She basically, they asked all the Democrats, where do you guys live at? So they're supposed to look at that and take that into consideration when they're trying to redraw this map. And they drew all these guys out of their districts. So they're no longer live in their districts. So we have to remember this. Most times, these type of things, this is all the congressional map is basically drawn up from the census, which happens every 10 years. So that's when they redraw. That's when most people go in every 10 years. States go in and they redraw, and they let the government know, the centralized government in DC know, hey, this is what's going on. This is how we're redrawing our maps. This is how many people came into our state. This is how many people we have. This is how many seats we're supposed to get from that. So what they did was they stopped halfway through the cycle, which is 2025. Halfway through the cycle, they stopped and they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to redraw our maps right now, because you know why? Because we got 2026 isn't looking too good for us right now. Yeah. This is what Trump came out and said. It's not looking too good for us right now because all the laws, things I put in place. So let's go ahead and try to see if we can gerrymander this vote. Now, this is what's going on here.
If your policies were good, you wouldn't have to gerrymander anything because your constituents and everybody would like it. You're seeing that, look, you have bad policies. The job growth, America's not growing. The jobs aren't coming. You know what I'm saying? People are losing more jobs than we're gaining. So with all that stuff going on right now, they're like, hey, we have to stay in power because they know their policies aren't good. If you had good policies and you believed in what you were doing, you wouldn't have to gerrymander. You would let the voters speak for it. But now what they're doing is taking the vote out of your hands. Think about in Florida. They're like, hey, we're just going to cancel the whole vote.
The whole entire vote, because they understood what the overall Republican policies are bad. So people are going to look at that and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to vote against you. So we say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give myself one more year. I'm going to give myself one more year. Hopefully everything cleans itself up. Things get better. And within that year, maybe we don't even have to have a vote anymore.
Or you call martial law and no one has to leave.
You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. This is just sad to see Texas become this type of a state. Then they call out the people to be arrested. It's not arrested as a criminal or a civil thing, just arrested and brought back here so they can face justice. Of
or
what
they're going
kind?
to take their jobs away from them, like they were voted in there.
Of what kind? So the people voted them in, and now you're trying to take their jobs away by redistricting their maps, man. Not by anything fair. What you're trying to do also is take away the power of your voters. Oh, let me redistrict this place right here. Cut out some of these black voters, some of these other Latino. This is what you're doing. Oh, some of these other Latino voters, place them over here. So now they don't have a majority over here anymore. This is what you're doing in America. This is what America has become. People have to understand. I always talk about population. I talk about everything. There's a swing happening in the world from what was in power before, was Western world, to what's going to be in power now, which is people from a diverse group of people from all over the true world. If a person say a world war, it's going to truly be a world war. Now, all continents will be included in this, except say Antarctica. You get what I'm saying? So we have to understand that this is why they're doing these things. They're trying to find any way that they can to make sure that it's not a part of this new wave of doing business.
Yep. And then Trump on undocumented workers. These people do farm labor naturally.
Wow.
Speaking about his administration's crackdown on undocumented immigrants is affecting the American agricultural sector. Trump said that in some cases, we're sending migrants back to their country with the pass back in legally. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. Trump added in undocumented farm laborers, primarily of Hispanic origin, who are being targeted for deportation by the Department of Homeland Security. These people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing the work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried. We've tried. Everybody's tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. Naturally. It should go without saying that no group of people feel an intrusive urge to cultivate the land or sub-livable wages and at a constant risk of detainment and deportation. But the president doubled down. I said, what happens if they get it? A farmer the other day, what happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because they get a bad back, they die. You know, in many ways, they're very, very special people, Trump said. As special as they may be, the president, his administration has treated undocumented workers, especially farm workers, with singular cruelty that has become increasingly dangerous. Migrants have been sent to foreign gulags where they were denied due process right and allegedly tortured. Raids have targeted workplaces, farms, and enforcement actions that one migrant told the Guardians makes them feel like they're being hunted like animals.
You done?
Yeah.
Let me. There's a couple things that was really, really interesting in that article that you just read, man. Did he say the people in the inner city don't want to do this?
Yeah, we tried.
The people in the inner city. We know who we're talking about when he talks about inner city, right?
Urban.
that's the other word they like to use for it. So the people in the inner city who used to do this for us for free don't want to do this anymore. They don't want to do this. We can't get them to do it anymore. And then what else did he say? These are very special people. You don't see the type of slave mentality, the type of slave master mentality. This is right here. This is a slave master mentality.
Well, I told you that I said this from the beginning when I was like, remember I said that when I was like, well, you're going to round up 20 million immigrants. That's too many. What are you going to do with them? Then I thought about it. I put two and two together. I'm like, they're going to turn them into slaves. And that's exactly, look, they're just easing you into it. They're like, look, these people, they're saying they're built to do this.
They're very special people.
They comes naturally to them.
The inner city people don't want to do this anymore. They don't want these type of jobs. They don't want to do this. It's not enough money in it for them. We can't pay them. We can't take away their freedoms and make them do it because it look bad.
Yeah.
But we can get these people to do it because no one cares. People want to see them suffer.
We've dehumanized them already.
Absolutely. This is a crazy thing, man. If you don't listen to them, it's like, treat him like, you can't treat him like none of the rest of the,
okay,
don't the rest of the other. You know, so should I treat him like him? No. Basically, I don't know if you guys see Django. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys seen that. But this is pretty much
you chose to wear that?
You know what I'm saying? If you guys don't pay attention to exactly what this man just said to you, these are his words.
I'm not worried about him. I've been saying this from the beginning. I knew this is what they were going to do.
Yeah, you have.
I need to see all the people that are okay with it because they got to go. Think about people. Hey, no, we should do it. They came here illegally. Send them back then. No, we're going to make them force. I told you they're going to force labor on them. They've been hitting them with the $1,000 fines. That's the start. Then they're going to catch them. How long you been in America? Okay, you owe us $50,000. You got to work it off.
Hey, what is that? This is a name for that. I can't remember the name. Something indentured servitude.
Indentured servants.
That's what it's called. Indentured servitude. Man, this is crazy. You people are funny, man. Y'all are funny to the point to where we need to pay attention. This is why I say we gotta join the fight as being Black people. This is why we have to, because if we don't, this is our fight later. Because they already told you. What did he say about? What did he say? Be back.
Check this out, bro.
He said the inner city. What did he say?
The inner city. Look, you could try. You look. People sit there and they be like, "Oh, look at the Black people attacking themselves. Leave us alone." You don't want us to turn that anger towards you. I mean, because look, we ain't got nothing to lose. I watch people that look like me die every day on TV and get beat up by the police. Now we get free range. Look, hey, today, by the time we film this, today is August 5th, 2025. We did this. Happy Montgomery Brawl Day.
Hey, let me say this. We have a lot to lose. A lot of us have a lot. I mean, we are intrinsically a part of this society, not only this society, a global society. We have a lot to lose. It's not about, my personal opinion, it's not about us having to fight physically with these people, because that's not where this should happen. That's not where this should go. If you look at where this country is heading, where the world is heading, that wouldn't make sense for us to take it that way. It makes more sense for us to use our minds and to buy and to own and to take ownership of. That's all they're really doing. This is why they're able to make these laws. They put these laws in place so they could turn them on us when the time came. So that's what we need to pay attention and do for ourselves, because they're petering out. This is done. This whole entire thing that they built is over with. I'm not saying that it's going to all crumble, but it's going to be for the people who are next up. And the people, that's people who have liquid gold running through their veins. You know what I'm saying? Who has God's gold running through their veins. It's us.
Yep. That melanin. And fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, melanin is worth more than gold.
Absolutely.
Google that.
Israel's Netanyahu expected to push for plan to occupy Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to push to occupy all of the Gaza Strip as ceasefire talks with Hamas founder and the hunger crisis in the besieged Palestinian enclave spirals. A bid by Netanyahu to occupy all of Gaza would follow similar calls from the members of his far-right government upon whom his fragile coalition relies, and could mark a significant shift in policy since Israel withdrew from the territory in 2005. Officials from Netanyahu's office said in a statement shared with NBC News on Monday night that Israeli leader had decided to occupy all of the Gaza Strip, including areas where hostages may be held. The statement was shared in Hebrew, and the terms used can be translated to mean both occupy and conquer. Netanyahu's office did not immediately respond to a request for the clarification on the intended definition, but Israeli media, including the Times of Israel, reported that Netanyahu intended to fully occupy the enclave. Israeli media reported that Netanyahu would hold a limited security meeting Tuesday to discuss the future of Israel's campaign in Gaza. Netanyahu had said Monday he planned to convene the security cabinet this week to instruct the Israeli military on how to achieve the three war objectives laid out at the start of Israel's offensive in Gaza: defeating Hamas, seeing the release of hostages who remain held in the enclave, and removing the threat of possible future attacks. Asked to confirm if the meeting would take place Tuesday, his office did not respond directly and referred NBC News to his comments Monday.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you voted for, correct? This is what you wanted. You said, oh, Trump will take care of it. Well, now they're going to take all of Gaza. They're already, and you see the UK is like, yeah, we're going to claim them as a state in September. I'm like, all those people will be dead by then. You know what I'm saying? So now they're taking all of Gaza like we figured they were going to. Nobody's going to do nothing. The court's not going to do nothing. If you say something, you're going to lose your FEMA funding in your state. So, I mean, that's what you voted for. And people need to understand this. This is what you voted for. This is what your non-vote got you, because you couldn't see the bigger picture. But I mean, somebody's like, how can I worry about Gaza when I have to worry about living here in America? You know what I'm saying? This is sad. It's sad to watch a genocide in real time as an adult. When they keep saying Hamas aren't women and children. You're going to spread these people, and this hatred for your country is going to go everywhere else now.
I mean, I saw like a chart where they asked people their opinions of Israel all around the world, right? And only like 3 countries had a favorable opinion of Israel, and they're like 2 African countries and somewhere else. I mean, not anywhere else around the world had a favorable opinion. We're over 50% unfavorable towards Israel in this country. And so, I mean, when you really look at what's happening here, I mean, this was their plan to begin with. You look at what Jared Kushner said. He told you, Donald Trump told you this is what we're going to do. And now you see Benjamin Netanyahu acting on it. This is what they've been planning on doing. There's Israeli like a little group of protesters or whatever, settlers you want to call them, who've already been marching towards Gaza like they want to start setting up encampments over there. Yeah. This is what they're already doing. You know what I mean? You got to look at I think Ben Gvir or something like that, which is like their far right leader in the Israeli government, went to a mosque that is internationally, that has international like rights where they can go there. Israelis can go there, but they're not allowed to pray there. What did he go do? He went and prayed there in front of everybody. I'm saying Netanyahu said, oh, we're going to keep the norms, but he didn't do anything about it, is the point, at all, because he can't. You know what I mean? So this is what's happening, man. I wish that I wish that the people from that region, Saudi Arabians, the Qatars, the Irans, the whoever, Jordanians, the Egyptians, all those people over in that region, I wish they stood up for those people over there, because we're not going to do it.
It says something in the Quran where they can't stand up for them, but some countries like Yemen has pledged to do it. They could too, but after a while, they're going to come for Egypt. That's the whole thing. Like, they're not going to stop expanding. They're taking Gaza now. They're going to come for Egypt. They're going to come for Syria.
They took the Golan Heights, man, from Syria. They took a bunch of stuff. I mean, I think maybe not Syria. Maybe that was Jordan or one of those other countries like that. But they've been taking and expanding territory. If you guys don't step up and quit putting your pockets first and put the people who look like you first over these people, because these are not the true people from that region. They not come from here. They're conquerors. That's what they really are. They're colonizers and conquerors, man. Someone needs to stand up and do something about this, because America is part of the West, and the West will never do anything about this because they're in bed with these people. And that's just what it is. So people need to
have too much. Well, they have too much videotape on politicians and important business people that actually you don't see that run the country, but they like to also run up in little children.
And put too much money in their
until that
pockets
stuff is released, and Congress comes back from their vacation to vote on it, which will probably be too late. Nothing's ever going to change. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Uncommon Courtesy. Until next time.
Tonight